představit, jak to bude vypadat na světě za půl století?
There's never been such a feeling of change.
But tomorrow is always built on today. And that is where our story begins.
I've always been fascinated by depictions of the future, as envisioned by people of the past. And it seems like I'm not the only one. Steampunk, for instance, has been a growing trend amongst the geek elite in the past decade. Similarly, dieselpunk, which captures the spirit of the gas-powered age, has gained momentum as a movement. But I'm more interested in what people of the era envisioned, particularly of the 50s and 60s. Some of it was goddamn ridiculous.
Most of this population will live in complex cities, and sophisticated new forms of building must be developed to shelter us.
Some of it was accurate.
In fact, it's sometimes said now that it might be possible to make the television set so slim that it could be hung on the wall.
And some of it was terrifyingly accurate.
We will be able to choose the sex of our children. We'll pick out children with high mathematical ability and give them special training and help to control the computer, which will be the basis for progress.
The technology might be off, you know, big bulky monitors for instance.
This video console will be channeled into the store of her choice.
But many concepts like online shopping existed in the 60s.
There, a camera will scan a display of wares, which she will select by push button.
Televizní nakupování je rychlé a hlavně pohodlné.
It's a lot of fun dreaming of future stuff. Like, what kind of cars are we gonna drive?
If you happen to see this trim little buggy zoom up and quickly swing into a tight parking spot, you'll be looking at a remarkable new car, the Davis three-wheeler.
What will we wear?
Apparently in AD 2000 we shall be having a hair-raising time.
Oh, the wares of everyday people.
Ooh, swish.
Most importantly, how will we dance? If Germany had won the war, we'd be doing a dance far sillier than Gangnam Style. Ooh, the sexy eel, my favorite dance move. But a place where a lot of us first experienced this retro futurism is from the classic land of tomorrow. Anaheim, California. Specifically Tomorrowland in that Disney place. When Disney World Land Kingdom Park first opened, Tomorrowland had few things of interest, and none of the iconic charm it does today. I'm sorry, is the Aluminum Hall of Fame not good enough for you? Then let's visit this corporate-sponsored hockey puck of a home.
The Monsanto House of the Future.
Oh, Monsanto, our future is safe in your hands.
Imagine how wonderful it would be to live in a house like this.
Yes, the Disneyland House of the Future with all its crazy concoctions.
Washing is by ultrasonic waves. Yes, living here could be fun, even to setting the table.
Thrilling! Look at that automated electric child go!
Plastics in all their colorful, functional, and beautiful versatility.
If I didn't know any better, I think this plastic manufacturing company might be trying to sell me on something.
Of plastic, 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 with a plastic, 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 plastic.
Plastics.
Naturally, there were knockoffs throughout the USA, like the now defunct Xanadu houses, which featured the wonders of Commodore microcomputers, automated chefs, and uncomfortable low ceilings. Then you had the fantastic Futuro houses, designed by Matty Surround and how do you pronounce that? Surround 2 U's in a row. Jesus Christ, Scandinavia can't handle its vowels. Vowel syndrome is more like it. The pre-assembled fiberglass structure was planned for easy assembly in rough terrains, and certainly reflects the tech-heavy optimism of post-war Finland. The thing looks like it fell from space. Or at least IKEA. But less than 100 were ever built because the rising price of oil in the 70s made the Futuro a bit too pricey for most buyers. I'd like to own one of these. We all live in a mod submarine. Now getting back to Disney. Let's not forget that Uncle Walt was also mesmerized by the promises of the future. Many episodes of Walt Disney Presents and Disneyland TV concern the subject of futurism. My favorite is this animated special about highways of tomorrow, which be today-ish. You have to remember that the National Interstate System had barely been approved in 1956, 2 years before this cartoon, so the creators have no working concept of what major roads might look like in the future. As you got a lot of ridiculous things like color-coded highways, glow-in-the-dark roads, flying ambulances, and... well, we technically have cameras for rear view, so I'll give them points there. But one thing that got hauntingly accurate is this.
The shape of our cities will change as expanded highway transportation decentralizes our population centers into vast urban areas. Giant arteries will link together all nations and help create a better understanding among the peoples of the world.
Our dependency on fossil fuels won't come back to bite us in the ass.
America will someday be crisscrossed by a network of super-speed transcontinental motorways.
Motorways? Careful, Grandpa, your age is showing. But more than the theories, I like the art in this short film. Not the animation per se, but the designs. Very bright and dynamic, as though they tested this film in a wind tunnel. Sleek angles and stylistic polygons give not only a sense of the future, but of the era in which this thing was made. Now, I didn't know this, but that 50s retro art style with the bright colors and the round shapes, spaceships, boomerangs, and Art Deco lettering, that has a name. Googie. And it was a very good name. It applies specifically to architecture that sprang up around Southern California in the late 1940s, named after a coffee shop on Sunset Boulevard, Googie's. From there, it spread around the US over the next couple decades. Look at this slopey-ass roof. I like Googie, but how could something so damn kitschy catch on in mainstream America? Well, remember, World War II had just wrapped up and the Allied governments promised the nations everything. They promised them the moon. They just throw a lasso around it and pull it on down for them. Now just look at a Googie building for a second. Doesn't it blare the phrase space age? It's a style that doesn't just promise the future, it makes you think you're already there. Listening to your space jazz in your space apartment, smoking your space tobacco while your space wife cooks you space dinner. In space. So you can see why it's caught on amongst the everyday buildings, gas stations, grocery stores, restaurants, even large buildings like the Seattle Space Needle and the theme building at the Los Angeles International Airport. And don't forget Las Vegas, can't swing a dead hooker without bumping a neon polygon. Now all these elements, future concepts, Googie architecture, post-war optimism are most noticeable in a cartoon of the early 60s. A cartoon you've probably been thinking about this entire time. Meet, or meet again, the Jetsons. A family name that has become synonymous with the future. In the public conscious, the Jetsons was a show ahead of its time with so many far-out ideas and visions of the future. But if you do your research, you'll find that it's not entirely original. The comic series had been using this future shtick for years, and the 1958 Magic Highway movie I mentioned earlier, well, look! Moving sidewalks, bubble domes, sky apartments, and detachable cars.
Since time immemorial, we have produced fanciful images about future life. Imagined cities of tomorrow, urban centers, the megalopolis, a vista of towers, traffic, and computer-controlled planning.
On the other hand, the Jetsons took all these pre-established ideas and condensed them down into a nice half-hour cartoon that was pleasant to look at. Here's something I didn't realize. Not counting the 1985 reboot, which included that slinky-legged mood ring Popple, the Jetsons only lasted one season of 24 episodes. So for all you folks out there who claim to have watched the Jetsons throughout the 60s and 70s, guess what? You watched the same 24 episodes. Again and again. For 2 decades.
Jane, stop this crazy thing!
But what is this show called again? Oh yeah, The Obscure. So, ugh, you need to update that poster. So I'd fail if I didn't bring some obscure gem to your attention. Let me present Colonel Bleep. Man, 60 Minutes has gone all high-tech in the future.
And now stand by for adventure!
Coming to us from 1958, Colonel Bleep has the honor of being the first color cartoon ever produced. Now that doesn't just scream future shock, then I don't know. I just don't know. I also don't know what is up with this cartoon. I mean, look at it for a moment.
And the exciting adventures of his new secret mission are about to begin.
The term animation is used loosely. The designs are happy-go-lucky Googie style, but all very muddled and intense. The artistic direction has a dark undertone, and I don't know why. The story concerns the alien hero Colonel Bleep, who grows worried about Earth after the bombing of Hiroshima, and comes to the planet to ensure it doesn't fall to evil or destroy the rest of the universe. That might explain the dark undertone, actually. Joining him are his 2 deputies, unfrozen caveman lawyer Scratch and creepy puppet cowboy Squeak. In other words, this show stars 3 popular tropes of the era. Now, as I said, the animation is... humans could not have made this. This is what Martian children watch. In the 4th dimension. Weird shapes and erratic movement by some strange-looking creatures make this show rather... distinct. The low quality of the movement means that the show wasn't very engaging. So to compensate, the narrator overreacts to situations to keep things interesting.
This time, the villain is armed with his powerful lunar Luger sizzling Saturn.
And by overreact, I mean he goes apeshit.
Go back! This is no ordinary weapon! Stop! Stop!
From a technical standpoint, this cartoon is fucking awful. But conceptually and from an ironic point of view, this cartoon is great! I mean, look at that guy! Look at that other guy! Look at that! He's got a little unicycle! Ah! So Colonel Bleep gets my hip recommendation of the day. As America moved further and further away from the post-war mentality, the hopefulness of a crazy awesome future gave way to more cynical and bleak visions of tomorrow. Think Soylent Green, Westworld, and particularly Logan's Run, which in some ways reflects the shiny brightness of the 50s concepts, though with a dark undertone and grim themes. The 70s was not a very happy-go-lucky era.
We all live in turbulence, often silent, personal. But the result is the same, stress.
So it's nice to know that an entire park came about in 1982 that carried the electric torch of Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland. I'm talking about the experimental prototype Central Office City Kingdom. That's not how you spell Epcot. Ah, my beloved Epcot Center. The most delightfully dull place on Earth. Spaceship Earth. I could spend an entire video talking about Epcot. Maybe even 3 videos. Apparently some jerk already did that. So let's look into one of my favorite attractions. Horizons. The one where you move like this.
Step into the future today.
In the year 35, ain't gonna need to tell the truth, tell no lies.
Seated in your sideways Omnimover, you'd pass by a series of scenes depicting visions of the future. From Jules Verne to 1980s futurists, doped up and dreaming big. At the end of the ride, you could choose which ending you'd like. Space Station, Desert Farm, Undersea Base, or Naboo. I haven't been to Epcot in decades, but next time I'm down there, I'll give Horizons a visit. God, why you gotta destroy everything I love?
An early lesson in disposability. Nothing is permanent anymore.
Well, Horizons is gone, ironically to pave the way for the future, but we can all still imagine a world of tomorrow and be inspired by it. But the one thing we can never predict is how society will change. Look at those retro futuristic videos again. It's always the man of the castle and the woman contentedly working in her plastic kitchen and taking care of the plastic children. Gender equality was not a popular notion. Who knew it would have caught on and that the world would become better because of it?
One of the nice things about traveling into the future is that the journey's just beginning.
That's right.
And I'll tell you something, if we can dream it, we really can do it.
The future is a mystery, but half the fun is imagining the shape of things to come. And now, the obscures predictions of the future. Marijuana will be legalized in all 50 states. Subsequently, snack foods and microwave pizzas will be banned nationwide, thus accomplishing nothing. NASA will discover microbes on Mars, when microbes on Mars shows up as the people you may know on Facebook. Sadly, sperm whales will go extinct, and the lack of sperm whales will cause the ocean to have a midlife crisis. Music players will become so small that they can be implanted underneath your skin cells. On the other hand, portable music headphones will become so large, you can only really use them at home, thus accomplishing nothing. Vinyl patio furniture will be considered a vegetable. I can't explain that one. Scrabble becomes the new national sport, after lawmakers decide that American football is just too dangerous to continue. But upon realizing that most games of Scrabble end in a bloody fistfight anyways, Scrabble is banned, and American football is reinstated. This time with actual Bengal Tigers. On a side note, Cincinnati goes on to win 12 Super Bowl titles. Nuded, the past tense of nude. Look at this actress, she's all like, what the fuck is going on back here? Oh wait, here's my favorite part. Yay!